Tonight on News 5 Live, News 5 goes behind the walls of the Princess Royal Youth Hostel. And the Gang Suppression Unit and the Anti-Gang Task Force are disbanded to form a new specialized unit. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
It's a fact that your credit lasts longer when using Smart. During these times, we're all trying to find ways to cut costs and save the little resources we have. With Smart, it's easy to do that. It's a fact that with Smart, your credit lasts longer. You can call Smart to Smart and Smart to Digi using your promo credit, while with the other guy, you can only call on-net, Digi, or BTL numbers. What does this mean? You get to call any national number using your promo credit. Your promo credit is free, so that call is also free. Know your facts. Don't be tricked by the other guy. Be smart and save your dollars.
When we started to build our house, we knew that we would have to enjoy living in it for the rest of our lives.
At Benny's, we found a large selection of exactly what we wanted.
Today our house is finished. The windows, doors, and door locks combine strength and quality to give our home a good feeling of security.
We're completely pleased with our kitchen, which features state-of-the-art Delta faucets and reliable GE appliances.
Our bath fixtures and accessories blends perfectly with the tiles that we picked.
We used warm paint colors that give a cozy effect, complementing our lights and fans.
From the grand entrance onto our beautifully tiled floors.
We are comfortable in our home, truly content with the knowledge that we did well shopping at Benny's.
Benny's and you, together we can make your dream house come true.
Every day, young persons are infecting older and high-risk family members and friends with the COVID-19 virus. This Christmas could become the super spreader event we've all been afraid of. The end result is suffering and a horrible death. Please, do not let a couple of hours of fun cause a lifetime of mourning and pain. Practice physical distancing, wash hands often, and wear your mask properly. Staying home this Christmas will ensure many more with your loved ones in the years to come. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Ray, what's wrong? It's him. He hit me again. Oh my gosh. This time it was worse. He slammed my face in the wall and threatened to kill me. If you or someone you know is experiencing family violence, call 0800 A Way Out. Or you can text or WhatsApp to 672-9628. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission, funding from The Engender and Spotlight Projects.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, December 31st. I am Marlene Cuellar. Tonight, we begin our final newscast for 2020 by going behind the razor wires and chain link fence at the Princess Royal Youth Hostel. For the better part of the last 13 years, the facility has been closely guarded by the Ministry of Human Development, which has kept the media at bay, particularly during times of unrest. On Wednesday, Minister Dolores Balderramos Garcia, Minister of State Gilroy Usher Sr., and Chief Executive Officer Tanya Santos toured the facility and saw firsthand the heart-rending situation that teenagers are forced to reckon with in the name of rehabilitation. This morning, an invitation was extended to us for the first time, and here is what reporter Isani Cayetano also saw.
For many years, the Princess Royal Youth Hostel has been off-limit to the probing eyes of the media. Escapes, uprisings, and even a deadly fire in November 2015 that claimed the lives of 3 female residents have largely been covered from the outside. Perhaps this has been so for good reason. The facility here at Mile 21 is in poor repair from neglect. Since taking over the Ministry of Human Development several weeks ago, Ministers Dolores Balderramos Garcia and Gilroy Usher Sr. have completed a walkthrough, and what they've observed is upsetting, to say the least.
We have been appalled at what we have seen, both physically in terms of the crumbling infrastructure, but also we had a meeting with some of the staff, and we believe that there are massive changes, systemic changes. You know, you talk about in the United States systemic racism. Well, we have systemic problems within the ministry and in this facility.
With a population of 25 at-risk teenagers, male and female, conditions at the youth hostel are squalid. Corroding steel doors, exposed shower stalls, poorly kept toilet facilities, and ramshackle dormitories are all akin to the cell blocks at the Belize Central Prison. Except these are not inmates. The young boys and girls that are housed here are not necessarily serving time for grave offenses committed on the outside.
And one of the things that I am very let down with here is that this facility should be a facility where the youths are given a second chance to turn their lives around. And the way this is set up, this will probably result in the opposite effect. Because number one, you have to teach children to take care of the environment. And so from you enter the compound, you see the site there with the rubbish that need to be thrown away. You see the garbage there that is unburned. Then when you go in the dorms, you see the letter graffiti in the dorms and with guns and with gangs and things. That's some of the very things that you're trying to steer them away from.
In the past, the administration that oversaw the Princess Royal Youth Hostel had been very tight-lipped, to the point where information on residents and the challenges they face within its fortified perimeter was hardest to come by. The purpose of this expose is not only to highlight what has gone horribly wrong in the management of the facility, but to also reveal the systemic neglect and violations of the fundamental rights of these residents, under the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child.
We're not dealing here with just an ordinary little home or things like that. These are children in conflict with the law. They come from very dysfunctional families. But I believe, and let me speak for myself now, that because you have come from a dysfunctional family and you may have committed an offense, you do not lose your human dignity. And I don't see that being respected here at the moment.
Problems having been identified, the Ministry of Human Development is now looking at existing legislation to remedy a lot of what has gone wrong here.
I will be looking very closely at the law. We have some very old laws like the Certified Institutions Act. We have to bring all of that into confluence with the Families and Children Act, which takes a more protective approach to children. And for example, I will be speaking with the magistrates so that when there is a placement or a committal here, it's not for an indefinite period or until the person becomes 18.
Ahead of revising the laws, however, is a dire need to address the living conditions at the facility. Ministers Balderramos Garcia and Usher have pledged that the dire situation faced by residents will be ameliorated by April 2021.
I invite you all to come back here within the next 4 months, and you'll see the changes that are being undertaken, because we are committed to having this facility being a true child-friendly facility where children come here, where the children see it not as punishment, but as an opportunity to turn their lives around.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
The Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs, in addressing the pressing issues at the Princess Royal Youth Hostel, will be working closely with the families of young adults who are placed in care at that facility. Part of the problem that has plagued the hostel is the belief by some parents that hostel is merely a place to abandon unruly children.
In terms of the systemic improvements and changes that we have to make, we will have to work with the parents and the families. We'll have to work with the parents and families because this place cannot be seen as a dumping ground. Or when they accuse you of uncontrollable behavior, then dump you to mile 21 and forget about you. So we have to work with the parents. And we will take the remit of families within the name of this ministry very seriously. And like I say, in a couple of months from now, we are willing to report back to the Belizean people.
If I could just add one thing concerning the dorms, and that is that while the children are provided with sheets and pillows, the condition of the weather changes from time to time. Right now we're in a real cool season, and therefore it is unfortunate that the children are not provided with blankets. And you know, in the night, in this cold time, iron gets cold. And so if you're expected to stay in a dorm with just a little thin sheet, come on, no blankets. That's one of the basic things that the children should be provided, because you should feel safe in a dorm. You should feel welcome in a dorm as opposed to being there, like as I said, for some sort of punishment.
The Gang Suppression Unit, GSU, and the Anti-Gang Task Force have been disbanded. This decision has given birth to the Gang Intelligence Investigation and Interdiction Unit, GI3, which will be under the command of Senior Superintendent of Police Lyndon Flowers. The Belize Police Department has also informed of the establishment of Region 4 in Eastern Division. These decisions will come in effect tomorrow, January 1st. The new Region 4 will be comprised of all that area which currently falls under the responsibility of the Coastal Executive Officer. The commander for Eastern Division Region 4 will be Superintendent Christopher Noble, and because of this change, Assistant Superintendent Basil Reyes will assume the post of Officer commanding the San Pedro Police Station. As for the GSU, in mid-November, Commissioner Chester Williams explained the decision to disband that specialized task force.
In terms of the Gang Suppression Unit, I have expressed to the Minister and to Cabinet yesterday that as a Commissioner, the name GSU have indeed left a bitter taste in the mouths of many Belizeans. And it is time that we look at the unit and do a rebranding. Now, do we need such a unit? The answer is yes, we do need it. But we must look at how we can refocus or redirect what GSU does, and after we do the rebranding, we will insert a commander who will be able to fashion that new direction that we want GSU to go. And I believe that once we do that, then we should be on good footing in terms of the public seeing that there is the move on the part of the police and the government to be able to ensure that every citizen is treated with respect by the police. Now, that does not mean that it will stop police brutality. Police brutality will continue until you and I are gone. But the important thing is that whenever it manifests itself, we must be able to take appropriate action so the public can see that we're not covering whatever wrongdoing our officers are doing out on the streets.
On Wednesday night, we told you about the Belize Crime Observatory's analysis of the crime data for 2020. According to the most recent figures, Belize is also on track to record its lowest murder rate since 2013. But the data, once gathered and analyzed, tell different stories. And on Wednesday, Technical Coordinator Adeli Bramas of the BCO shared an interesting bit of information on the autopsies conducted between 2019 and 2020.
When we look at the autopsies of all homicides, now these include the murders, we see where, in terms of the percentage of the autopsies that were done for homicides in November 2019, there were 16%. And for the same period in 2020, 34% of those autopsies that were conducted by the National Forensic Science Service were on homicide victims. And that is substantial, because we saw a period where it was like the murders, just declined so substantially, and then there was an uptick. So again, we have to watch these dynamics, because it points to the big question of whether the actions that we're taking are really making that kind of impact that we want. Are they measures that will have a sustained impact over time? And so that is why it's so critical for us to have these kinds of analytics, that will show decision makers that, you did this, yes, it had that impact. Was the impact sustained? And where we may need to look at other measures to complement those very effective measures so that the impacts can be sustained.
Up, NIAB takes Karim Musa to task over the cannabis industry.
Pelican, the beer of Belize.
My fellow Belizeans, very soon 2020 will end, and we will welcome the advent of 2021. As a nation, we will look back at 2020 with very mixed feelings, and rightly so. It was a year of unprecedented floods associated with hurricanes Nana, Eta, and Iota, which caused more than $100 million in damage to the Belizean economy. People lost their property, farmers lost their crops and livestock, and public infrastructure was seriously damaged. If this was not enough, we experienced a drought that affected produce and farmers lost again. COVID-19 pandemic brought our economy to a near halt. Over 236 Belizeans lost their lives to COVID, and more than 10,000 tested positive. About 45,000 persons lost their jobs, and many businesses closed as a result of the measures imposed to fight the virus. COVID-19 dramatically changed the way we work, the way we live, and the world we know. But 2020 was not all bad. Hundreds of Belizeans, along with Cuban collaborators, faced the virus and provided care and control as we implemented measures to curb its spread. Those frontline workers are our heroes. Because of the lockdown and other restrictions, many new micro, small and medium-sized businesses were spawned. This showed our Belizean creativity and an entrepreneurial spirit never before seen. We now have more Belizean businesses. As a result of border closures, we became tourists in our own country in record numbers. We rediscovered the exotic beauty of this our land and the warm hospitality of our people. On 11 November 2020, voters went to the polls, braved the COVID-19 virus, and elected a new PUP government with an overwhelming majority. The electorate endorsed the proposals in our Plan Belize. We received 59% of the popular vote. Without doubt, my government has a strong mandate for change. 2020 was truly a year of change. Change because Belizeans needed to change what was, and because Belizeans want a better future. When we assumed office, we found the treasury empty. The former administration was borrowing $1 million per day to meet expenses. Imagine, they had to borrow every single month to meet payroll. That is bankruptcy, pure and simple. Last August, the Barrow administration failed to pay the US $13 million Superbond payment when it became due. Instead, they added this amount to the principal, thereby increasing Belize's foreign debt and deferring the inevitable. The rating agencies downgraded Belize yet again. The important takeaway is that due to mismanagement by the Barrow administration, they could not make the payment, and Belize was financially embarrassed on the world stage. As a result of COVID-19, the Barrow administration borrowed more than $200 million in 2020. The Belizean economy was in recession before COVID-19 gripped us. The situation worsened in the second, third, and fourth quarters, and we estimate that the Belizean economy will shrink by 15% in 2020. The overall fiscal deficit is now in excess of $500 million, or 12% of GDP, and our debt to GDP will increase to 133%. The acceptable standard is 60%. While economists who analyze and keep track of these statistics will be alarmed by these figures, they tell a simple tale to all: Belize broke. We believe that Belizeans should know why things are so bad. We all deserve to know how we reached this deplorable state. Because of UDP mismanagement and corruption, we will all be asked to make major sacrifices in 2021 as we seek to right the ship of state. In good conscience, before we ask Belizeans to do so, those who brought us to this point must be held to account. In the days and weeks ahead, my government will be revealing to the Belizean people the extent of the stealing, criminality, and corruption that was perpetrated by the Barrow administration. Valuable lands are now in the hands of UDP cronies, given away for a pittance. Contracts valued hundreds of millions of dollars were awarded to favorite contractors who failed to pay millions in taxes and fees. State enterprises bought properties at gross overvalues, leaving institutions saddled with millions in debt for no legitimate purpose. Cronies signed contracts in the run-up to the elections and are now demanding massive payouts to be released from contracts. Public officers were required to use government equipment and fuel to build roads on private property and to clear massive ranches. The theft and corruption were widespread and unprecedented. This cannot, should not, and will not be allowed to be forgotten. There will be investigations and, where warranted, criminal charges laid. Where appropriate, civil action for recovery will be brought before the courts. There will be no sacred cows. It is against this miserable reality that we must turn to face 2021. The new year presents us with near insurmountable obstacles. The challenges ahead are difficult. The choices we face are tough. To suppress the spread of COVID-19, we have created the COVID-19 Task Force. This task force will be guided by science and has a mandate to recommend such measures as are required to protect us all. We're engaged with friendly countries and others seeking to bring the vaccine to Belize as soon as reasonably possible. To bounce back better, we must defeat coronavirus. I have appointed the Economic Recovery Advisory Team, which is comprised of a cross-section of the community, to make recommendations to government on restoring economic growth, job creation, and attracting investment. This is in keeping with our Plan Belize commitment to govern in a consultative manner. We have been carefully reviewing the government's financial position. It is fragile and unsustainable. It is clear that to return Belize to a path of sustainability, major changes will be required in 2021. We are preparing a plan which we will shortly share with stakeholders. We intend to consult widely with a view to agreeing on a set of measures required to turn things around. We will bounce back better. Next week, we will present a supplementary budget in the House of Representatives and present revised estimates of revenue and expenditure for the last quarter of this very unusual year. We will not propose any new revenue measures. We will also present bills to the House which initiate our reform agenda. These bills will be tabled and referred to committees to give interested persons an opportunity to consult and offer comments on our proposals. In an effort to stimulate more economic activity and ensure that employees have more disposable income and employers more finances to operate, we consulted with the actuary of the Social Security Board, who has advised that we can defer the dual increase of the ceiling and contribution rate scheduled to begin in January 2021. He went further stating, and I quote, that the dual increase would have a detrimental impact on employment, end of quote. He also stated that an updated actuarial report sent to the Social Security Board several weeks ago states that the impact of COVID-19 on the actuarial situation of the SSB has been less than anticipated. Therefore, as the Prime Minister and Minister responsible for Social Security, along with Cabinet, we decided to postpone the increase in the payments that was due in 2021. Pope John Paul II said, "The future starts today, not tomorrow." This is true. The challenges of the future call us to act today. When tested, Belizeans respond. As a people, we have always faced our challenges secure in the knowledge that we will succeed. It is the indomitable Belizean resolve that girds us, the spirit of our ancestors that energizes us, and our hope and vision for a better life that inspires us to overcome. We know not what the year before us brings. That is the order of nature. But our undying faith in our Creator gives us confidence. The Bible teaches that faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Let us bring in 2021 safely. Let us adhere to the protocols and try to minimize the spread of COVID-19. And to Belizeans everywhere, I offer health, happiness, and God's blessings for 2021. Happy New Year. Feliz Año Nuevo.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety, and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
From the Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, European Union, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The National Evangelical Association of Belize has responded to comments made by Minister of New Growth in Industries, Karim Musa, in respect of the cannabis industry and the church's opposition to such a venture. In speaking with the media earlier this week, Musa admitted that marijuana is consumed every day in the country. While there are no economic gains from the illegal sale of the narcotic, legitimizing the trade of marijuana can potentially boost the beleaguered local economy. In its release, NIEB says it finds it, quote, shockingly offensive that in a national pandemic crisis, he would choose to put that issue forward in the first 100 days, unquote. It also goes on to say, quote, Belize already has a serious substance abuse issue, and to suggest that legalizing and profiting off the marijuana industry will eliminate gang turf battles and murders is severely misguided, unquote. For context, here is what Musa, who is also the Minister of Home Affairs, said.
Are you afraid of the blowback from those churches, the NIAB, let's say, which took a very hard line last time?
Well, let me say this again, Jules. Whether we like it or not, marijuana, cannabis is consumed in Belize on a daily basis. It is already recreationally legal, already. And so all that we are doing is saying that we need to make it benefit our country in terms of our economy. There is no greater time, Jules, than now, because of the challenges that we face with COVID, because of the dire state that our economy is in. We do need whatever help we can get. And if we can get help and economic relief from the cannabis industry, as well as the tourism industry, as well as our agricultural industry, it can all play a part in bouncing back our economy.
Travel restrictions across district lines in Orange Walk and Corozal are still in place. Both districts have continued to record an increasing number of COVID-19 cases, with Orange Walk having 2,326 confirmed cases to date, the second highest number among the 6 districts. The 2 northern districts have also recorded the most COVID-19 deaths across the country. The positivity rate in those 2 districts is also quite high. Acting Director of Health Services, Dr. Melissa Diaz, says that the hope is that the messages are getting through to the residents of the northern districts.
when the SI was put in place, yes, they were definitely, they have consistently maintained a high positivity rate, but that does not mean that we are not keeping a close eye on all our districts and all our different municipalities as well. And we will make decisions based on the positivity rate and the trend that we see at different areas. We are hopeful that the public health interventions and the public health measures are actually working, and especially over the Christmas season, and we're coming up into New Year, we're appealing to the public to please ensure that the social distancing, the proper use of your mask, your hand sanitizing, reducing socializing, all these things should make a difference for us in the early part of next year. So we're hoping that this also helps us to reduce the number of positive cases in all districts. But it's something that we monitor daily and we look at very closely.
And your visit to Orange Rock today, is that you being on the ground with your team tackling the virus in the most affected areas?
Yes, definitely. I have been trying to visit all areas. I have always been at Central Health Region for the last 5 or 6 years. I am the Deputy Regional Manager of Central Health Region, so I'm very familiar with working on the ground with our team and working with COVID. I have dealt with a lot of the cases myself, and I've worked at the facilities with our doctors and nurses, and I'm hoping to try to do the same in the other districts.
As we leave behind the dreadful 2020, we enter 2021 with a new strain of the COVID-19 virus. The new strain was first reported in the United Kingdom, where it has been blamed for a sharp increase in cases. Although scientists say there is no evidence that the new strain is more deadly, the belief is that it could be up to 70% more transmissible than others. At least 40 countries, including the entire European Union and Canada, have temporarily banned incoming travel from the UK as of Monday. In the US, California has become the second state to report a case of the mutated COVID-19 strain. However, health experts have stated that newly approved vaccines should still work against the variant. Here in Belize, Acting Director of Health Services Dr. Diaz and her team are carefully monitoring the new strain of the virus. Dr. Diaz says that the ministry is being assisted by Baylor College to determine which strain of the virus is currently present in Belize.
At this point, we do know that from earlier in the year, there have been mutations of this virus. And I think that the one from the UK has now come to the forefront because of how infectious it is. But this isn't the first mutation that has occurred. A mutation of a virus is a natural process, and it's a slight change in the virus that may cause a different strain. So we do know, for instance, the influenza virus, there are thousands of different strains of many different viruses. So we have been working with the central lab, and there is the Baylor College here as well, giving some assistance, and they will be able to run some of the samples and determine what strain of the virus we are carrying here in Belize. But that has not been done so far, but it's in the pipeline.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness earlier this month authorized the use of ivermectin to treat patients suffering from COVID-19. The drug is typically used to treat many types of parasitic infections, such as head lice and scabies. Studies have shown that ivermectin has broad-spectrum antiviral activity, reducing symptoms as well as the activity of the virus. There's also evidence that ivermectin can be used as prevention. And while that may be so, Acting Director of Health Services Dr. Melissa Diaz says that ivermectin is not a cure for the disease.
It's a medication that has been around for many, many years. It has been used as an anti-parasitic medication since the 1980s, and it has a very good safety profile. Now, from earlier on this year, many articles have been published and shown and spread on Google, on the World Wide Web, everywhere, to show that it has some efficacy against this virus multiplying in our system. Now, when we've looked at guidances even over the last 6 weeks, there are many more positive response for the drug ivermectin in many countries. So we know that people have been looking and researching, and people have been taking varied dosages in Belize City, trying to get this medication, trying to get the injectables, etc. And after our medical response team discussed it, we felt that there was enough evidence. In fact, there's a group of critical care physicians in the US who have actually placed it on their regular protocols in the States. So it's not only there, it's being used in Australia, in South America, in many countries. And for that reason, we at the Ministry of Health and Wellness decided that it would be best for us to put it on our protocols in order to guide the dosages, guide the use of the medication, and as well, if you look at, and I've made it clear that it's off license, it's not licensed for COVID, but it has been shown to improve cases. And if you look at the flip side, it's a cost-effective medication. It is easy to access. It has a very good safety profile, and it has been shown to be to have good efficiency and effectivity on the virus, no?
Pablo Miss has been appointed to the United Nations Voluntary Fund for Indigenous Peoples. In his capacity, Miss will serve as one of 5 persons on the advisory board of trustees of the UN Fund. The fund was established some 35 years ago with the goal to enhance the participation of Indigenous people in the UN system. Miss is the first Indigenous representative from Belize to be appointed in this role. He says that his appointment will provide him with the opportunity to advise the UN's Secretary General on the use of the fund for the next 3 years. Today he shared what this appointment means for Indigenous peoples across the Americas and what he's hoping to champion on their behalf in his advisory role.
I think that my nomination is one that does not come simply as a result of my work alone, but of course the work of all Indigenous peoples in this region of the Americas and the Caribbean. And for Belize, I think this is also a recognition that we have Indigenous peoples and their representatives actively engaging on issues that is affecting them. So I think this is a recognition of the presence and the visibility and the efforts of Indigenous peoples in Belize to become a part of the conversations on matters that is affecting them. I'm honored to be a part of the board for the next 3 years, and my hope is that we would be able then to get more information directly to the various Indigenous constituencies and see more participation within the corridors of the UN. I particularly have a very keen interest on working very closely with Indigenous peoples within the Caribbean. In my experience, I've seen not a very strong presence of Indigenous and tribal people within the Caribbean region, within the UN system. I also take note that the Voluntary Fund recently expanded its mandate to look at issues related to climate change, to make sure that the Indigenous peoples are a part of that. And in the Caribbean region, we will note that climate change will impact first mostly the Indigenous and marginalized communities. So we hope that in my capacity, I'd like to see that we are able to get the relevant information to the representatives of Indigenous peoples within the Caribbean and see how they can build their own capacity and see how they can facilitate their participation within these discussions that ultimately makes decisions that will impact their lives. The aim, as I said, is that we would like to see more Indigenous people being a part of the process of decision-making within the UN system so that the nation-building process takes into account the realities of Indigenous people.
The working class can breathe a sigh of relief tonight as the Social Security Board announced that the contribution rate increase scheduled to take effect in 2021 has been deferred. The contribution rate was scheduled to increase from 9% to 10%, with the wage ceiling increasing from $480 to $520. The decision was first announced by Prime Minister John Briceño in his New Year's message. The SSB says consideration was given to the current state of the economy, as well as the potential negative effect on employment in the near future. After the break, Quality Poultry goes regional with its first export to Grenada.
Compatriotas beliceños, muy pronto, 2020 terminará y daremos la bienvenida a la llegada del 2021. Como nación, miraremos hacia atrás al año pasado con una mezcla de sentimientos y con toda la razón. Fue un año de inundaciones sin precedentes asociadas a los huracanes Nana, Eta y Iota, que causaron más de $100 millones en daños a la economía de Belice. La gente perdió sus propiedades, los agricultores perdieron sus cosechas y sus ganados, y la infraestructura pública quedó gravemente dañada. Por si eso no fuera suficiente, experimentamos una sequía que afectó la producción y los agricultores volvieron a perder. La pandemia del COVID-19 casi paralizó nuestra economía. 233 beliceños perdieron la vida y más de 10,000 dieron positivos. Alrededor de 40,000 personas perdieron sus trabajos y los negocios cerraron como resultado de las medidas impuestas para combatir el virus. El COVID-19 cambió dramáticamente la forma en la que trabajamos, la forma en que vivimos y el mundo que conocemos. Por el año 2020 no fue tan malo. Cientos de beliceños, junto con colaboradores cubanos, se enfrentaron al virus y proporcionaron cuidados y control mientras implementábamos medidas para frenar su propagación. Esos trabajadores de primera línea son nuestros héroes. Debido al bloqueo y otras restricciones, se crearon muchas nuevas micro, pequeñas y medianas empresas. Se dejó ver la creatividad beliceña y un espíritu empresarial hacia entonces oculto. Ahora tenemos más empresas beliceñas. Como resultado del cierre de las fronteras, nos convertimos en turistas en nuestro propio país en número récord. Redescubrimos la exótica belleza de esta nuestra tierra y la cálida hospitalidad de nuestra gente. El 11 de noviembre del 2020, los votantes fueron a las urnas, desafiaron el virus COVID-19 y eligieron un nuevo gobierno del PUP con una mayoría abrumadora. El electorado apoyó las propuestas de nuestro Plan Belice. Recibimos el 59% del voto popular. Sin duda, mi gobierno tiene un fuerte mandato para el cambio. El 2020 fue realmente un año de cambios. Cambio porque Belice necesitaba cambiar lo que era y porque los beliceños quieren un futuro diferente. Cuando asumimos el cargo, encontramos la tesorería vacía. La administración anterior pedía prestado $1 millón por día para cubrir los gastos. Imagínense, tenían que pedir prestado cada mes para pagar la nómina. Esa es la bancarrota pura y simple. En agosto pasado, la administración Barrow no pagó los 13 millones de dólares americanos del Superbond cuando se venció. En su lugar, añadieron esta cantidad al capital, aumentando así la deuda externa de Belice y aplazando lo inevitable. Las agencias calificadoras volvieron a bajar la calificación de Belice. Lo importante es que, debido a la mala gestión de la administración Barrow, no pudieron hacer el pago y Belice quedó financieramente avergonzado en el escenario mundial. Como resultado del COVID-19, la administración Barrow prestó millones de dólares en el 2020. La economía de Belice se había contraído antes de que COVID-19 nos afectara. La situación empeoró la segunda, tercera y cuarto trimestre y estimamos que la economía de Belice se reducirá en un 15% en el 2020. El déficit fiscal general se estima ahora en 500 millones de dólares o el 12% del Producto Interno Bruto. Y nuestra deuda con el PIB aumentará al 133%. El estándar aceptable es el 60%. Mientras que los economistas que analizan y siguen esas estadísticas se alarmarán por estas cifras. Estas cuentan una simple historia para todos. Belice está en quiebra. Creemos que los beliceños tienen derecho a saber por qué las cosas van tan malas. Merecemos saber cómo llegamos a este lamentable estado. Debido a la mala gestión y la corrupción del UDP, se nos pedirá que hagamos grandes sacrificios en el 2021 mientras buscamos enderezar el barco de la nación. Pero antes de que podamos pedir a los beliceños en conciencia que lo hagan, aquellos que nos llevaron a este punto deben rendir cuentas. En los días y semanas venideros, mi gobierno revelará al pueblo de Belice el alcance de los robos, la delincuencia y la corrupción perpetrada por la administración Barrow. Tierras valiosas están ahora en manos de los compinches del UDP, regaladas por una miseria. Contratos valorados en cientos de millones de dólares fueron otorgados a contratistas favoritos que no pagaron millones en impuestos y honorarios. Las empresas estatales compraron propiedades a precios excesivos, dejando a las instituciones cargadas con millones en deudas sin ningún propósito legítimo. Las empresas privadas firmaron contratos en el periodo previo a las elecciones y ahora están exigiendo pagos masivos para que se liberen de los contratos. Se exigió a los funcionarios públicos que utilizarán el equipo y el combustible del gobierno para construir carreteras en la propiedad privada y para limpiar ranchos masivos. El robo y la corrupción fueron generalizadas y sin precedentes. Esto no se puede, no se debe, ni se permitirá que se olvide. Habrá investigaciones y se presentarán cargos criminales justificados. Cuando proceda, se iniciará acciones civiles de recuperación ante los tribunales. No habrá vacas sagradas. Es contra esta miserable realidad que debemos enfrentar el 2021. El año nuevo nos presenta obstáculos casi insuperables. Los desafíos que se avecinan son difíciles. Las opciones que enfrentaremos también son difíciles. Para suprimir la propagación del COVID-19, hemos creado el Grupo Especial del Trabajo COVID-19. Este grupo de trabajo será guiado por la ciencia y tiene el mandato de recomendar las medidas necesarias para protegernos a todos. Estamos comprometidos con países amigos y otros que buscan traer la vacuna a Belice tan pronto como sea razonable posible. Para recuperarnos mejor, debemos derrotar a la Rona. He nombrado al equipo asesor de recuperación económica, que está compuesto por una muestra representativa de la comunidad, para que hagan recomendaciones al gobierno sobre el restablecimiento del crecimiento económico, la creación de empleo y la atracción de inversiones. Esto está en consonancia con nuestro compromiso de Plan Belice de gobernar de manera consultativa. Hemos estado revisando cuidadosamente la posición financiera del gobierno. Es frágil y insostenible. Está claro que para devolver a Belice a un camino de sostenibilidad se requieren grandes cambios en el 2021. Estamos preparando un plan que en breve compartiremos con los interesados. Tenemos la intención de realizar amplias consultas con miras a acordar un conjunto de medidas necesarias para dar un giro a las cosas. Nos vamos a recuperar mucho mejor. La semana que viene vamos a presentar un presupuesto suplementario a la Cámara de Representantes para el último trimestre del año fiscal. Presentaremos estimaciones revisadas de ingresos y gastos para el último trimestre de este año tan inusual. No propondremos ninguna nueva medida de ingresos. También presentaremos proyectos de ley a la Cámara que inician nuestra agenda de reformas. Esos proyectos de ley serán presentados y remitidos a los comités para dar a las personas interesadas la oportunidad de consultar y ofrecer comentarios sobre nuestras propuestas. En un esfuerzo para estimular más actividad económica y asegurar de que los empleados tengan más ingresos disponibles y los empleadores más finanzas para operar, hemos consultado con el actuario de la Junta de la Seguridad Social, quien nos han aconsejado que podemos aplazar el incremento doble del límite máximo y de la tasa de contribución previsto para comenzar en enero del 2021. Fue más allá al afirmar y citó que el incremento doble tendría un impacto perjudicial en empleo. También informó de que un informe actuarial actualizado enviado a la Junta de Seguridad Social hace varias semanas afirma que el impacto del COVID-19 en la situación actuarial de la Junta ha sido menor de lo previsto. Por lo tanto, como primer ministro y ministro responsable de la Seguridad Social, junto con el gabinete y actuando con el asesoramiento actuarial, decidimos posponer la aplicación del último tramo de enmiendas legales, sujeto a una evaluación de las tendencias actuariales en el 2021. El Papa Juan Pablo II dijo, el futuro comienza hoy, no mañana. Esto es cierto. Los desafíos del futuro nos llaman a actuar hoy. Cuando se le pone a prueba, los beliceños responden. Como pueblo, siempre hemos enfrentado nuestros desafíos con la seguridad de que tendremos éxito. Es la indomable resolución beliceña que nos une, el espíritu de nuestros antepasados que nos da energía y nuestra esperanza y visión de una vida mejor, lo que nos inspira a superarlo. No sabemos lo que nos depara el año que tenemos por delante. Es el orden de la naturaleza, pero nuestra fe inquebrantable en nuestro Creador nos da confianza. La Biblia enseña que la fe es la seguridad de las cosas que se esperan, la convicción de las cosas que no se ven. Traigamos el 2021 a salvo. Cumplamos los protocolos y tratemos de minimizar la propagación del COVID-19. A todos y cada uno, de parte de mi familia, les ofrezco salud, felicidad y las bendiciones de Dios para el 2021. ¡Feliz Año Nuevo!
We made it to the end of 2020, the year that challenged our realities as individuals, as a family, as a community, as a nation, all while accelerating our digital lifestyle. We end this year, regardless, with the faith, hope, and commitment of many new possibilities for improvement and change. 2021 brings a new era of opportunities for Digi. Digi has and will continue to introduce new innovative solutions via our state-of-the-art mobile and fixed broadband networks, allowing Belizeans to continue implementing new business practices, work and school from home, and seamlessly communicate with family and friends globally. All this would not be possible without our team of capable, dedicated staff, our loyal customers and stakeholders. Digi extends a heartfelt thank you and appreciation to all our Digi staff for their dedication and unwavering commitment to always providing high-quality service. Digi also extends a heartfelt thank you to our loyal customers who have displayed confidence and trust in our ability to keep them connected with our quality service and solutions. We made it through 2020 together, and we will continue to be there for you in the coming year. Have a blessed and safe holiday season, and best wishes for a prosperous new year. Together we can, together we will.
Message from the Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, European Union, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Quality poultry products is now available in the Caribbean, the island of Grenada to be specific. Earlier this month, the poultry producer from Spanish Account exported a container of chicken products to Grenada. It's the first time they're exporting, and according to the chicken company, they delayed it by 6 months to ensure that they were able to meet the export demand and supply the local market. General Manager Raymond Bartman says that following their hazard analysis critical control points certification a few years ago, exportation was on the horizon. With some support through Western Dairies, they were able to successfully export their first shipment.
Now we have exported one
container to Grenada. So obviously we're hoping that we can grow from there, and hopefully we can increase staff and production and so forth. And obviously the big one is we're now a foreign exchange earner. So that's, or at least we hope that we will be that, which I know we badly need here in Belize this time.
How much did you send on this first shipment, Mr. Bachman?
16,000 pounds.
16,000.
That's a 20-foot container, in other words, yeah.
Is this a one-time thing, or are you looking to see this happening perhaps every month or every so often?
Oh, we're hoping it'll happen every month, every week, or, you know, as much as it can. Now, of course, Grenada has a population of 100,000 people, so it's not a very big, there's not a lot of people there. But, I mean, obviously we're hoping this will be a normal thing from now on. This is, you know, the first trial, so we still have to see how the end result will be from this one. And hopefully we can learn, well, we have learned a lot already, as is up till now. So, you know, we hope we can build on this one and see where it goes, definitely.
Yeah. What was the process like for you guys to get to the point of exportation, and how did it go this time around?
Well, obviously Grenada was chosen because Western Dairies is already there. They have a branch, right? So in other words, we're just partnering up with them, Belcar, Spanish Dugout Community, and so forth. So that's why the starting point was Grenada. And again, you know, it's a little easier when you already have someone established that knows the people to talk to get permits and so forth, and the CVOs and so forth. So that is why that decision was a little, you know, kind of easy to choose Grenada.
So as you heard, Quality Poultry Products is now exporting to the Caribbean. During our interview with General Manager Raymond Bartman, he shared that despite this new exportation venture, business has been tough for the poultry producer, and they have recorded a production decline of 2.8 million pounds of poultry as a result of COVID-19. Bartman says, however, that while business is bad, it is not all doom and gloom, as they had anticipated, and they have big plans for the new year.
We have definitely not gone back to normal levels yet. And this is, I mean, I believe the minute tourism, well, obviously, I fully believe if tourism comes back the way it was before, then we would definitely be up to normal levels. So with that being said, of course, it's hurting right now, and it's bad for us right now because we are down with sales. But at the same time, I'm also on the side where I'm almost surprised it's not worse, if you know what I mean. Like when COVID came, we were also scared and everything. We thought people wouldn't eat chicken anymore, and thankfully,
it's the most affordable protein right now.
So yeah, that's right. So yes, we're still down. Obviously, this expert won't make a difference in that department, but we believe that if the tours come back again, then we will be right back where we were before COVID.
I would imagine this translates to jobs and other things being affected.
Well, yes, and remember, this is a long line here because remember, there's the farmers who raise the corn, the farmers who raise the chickens. If we don't sell as much chicken, then the barns have to stand empty longer and so forth. So, I mean, obviously, yeah, it's a long chain reaction. And obviously, we don't process as much. You're right there as well, that if we don't process as much chicken, then obviously we don't have as much job. That is correct as well. So,
was this Christmas bad or good for sales for Quality?
Again, it was, of course, a lot less than previous years, but again, at the same time, we were also pleasantly surprised that it wasn't worse. I mean, I don't have the turkey percentages at the moment. I only had the chicken, but I don't know exactly where we stand. But I do know that we when COVID came, we completely canceled an order of turkeys, which we normally would take. So with that being said, I know that we are quite a bit short, but I don't have the percentages right now. But at the same time, people were still buying the turkeys now, especially the smaller ones. So those actually went a lot faster as well than expected. Now the bigger ones aren't selling, but but the small ones moved pretty good.
The new year, is there anything new that Quality is looking to do?
Always. We're gonna launch a new line in next year, 2021, which I'm very excited for. I wouldn't say what it is yet, but I will keep it as a surprise.
Oh, I thought you'd give me this exclusive.
I think Belize will like it a lot. So that there's always things, coming and happening, and we'll make sure that stays that way as well.
The Joy for a Child Foundation, a community outreach initiative founded by Gregory August, held its inaugural event earlier this month with an activity at BTL Park that saw 10 children receive Christmas gifts and other goodies. The idea for the foundation was conceived by August, an inmate at the Belize Central Prison who is doing time for murder. While he anticipates his return to society in a few years, August is giving back to children who've lost their parents to gun violence. His aunt, Paulette Augustus, is the spokesperson for the newly formed foundation.
Well, I must say that the event was a success. It was held on the 19th of December, and we have done it keeping to the Ministry of Health regulations, and because we had 10 kids who of course is along with their parents and other members of the foundation, we did it in rotation. We had the first 10 children showing up at 2 o'clock in the evening at the BTL Park, and the other 5 showing up at 3 in the evening. And we had them do a little bit of activity in terms of painting and preparing Christmas cards for the mom. And the mom were there with them as well. So it was a joy getting to meet the children and their parents. And it's surprising that about 2 or 3 of the parents that I actually taught at high school. So that was a joy to meet them in some way giving back to someone that will benefit from what it is that the foundation has to offer. This is a human side of him. This is a person side of him, where it is that he is reaching out, giving back in terms of not just staying in the system and realizing that, you know what, there's nowhere for me to go, but rather, this gives him that ability to do the time rather than have the time do him. So he is finding a way to, rehabilitate in a way in which it is that he can give back and make himself a bit being proactive in terms of starting this foundation and helping out these children and the parents in bringing some type of alleviate, some type of pain or however assistance that he can give. So with this foundation and the give back that he's doing, then coming back into society is going to be a bit easier for him, because then he has something to look forward to when he comes out, so he can take up that mantle and then truly run his foundation.
When we come back, Belize Healthcare Partners Limited boasts a new isolation unit for COVID-19 patients.
Currently, we're using Smart Elite VoIP calling plan. We use it interbranch. We use it to call outside, and we also use it to call international. It's far cheaper than what we used to have before. Our new PBX box is new. So the PBX is very good because I can call to my Sartaneja branch, I can call to my Kikaka branch, I can call to San Pedro branch, and there's no cost using the PBS. Actually right now, since we're in different locations, I can call main office from where I am at a no cost using the PBX system. I would recommend it, sure I would, especially the big enterprises who has a lot of employees. There's a lot of reduction in costs, 50% of saving. But that on a year, it's a lot of money that we're saving. Money that we could return to our members, since we give back dividend to our members.
Visit our showroom or call 670-6710 to find out how Smart's corporate plan and PBX systems can benefit your business. Consultation is free.
Season's greetings.
Girl, Patsy, that you that compliments of the season, girl.
Yes, girl. So how you did do? Girl, I'm here, Gary, girl, let go.
Girl, not too bad, you know. That's 6 months now, so we barely feel it. And you did do big Christmas shopping, though.
Yes, girl. You know, every year the whole family come over to my house, lot them out to feed. And Paul, even when we buy a new sofa set, I don't know who we're gonna try him first. And you done your big Christmas shopping?
No, girl, no kind of big shopping this year.
I totally understand.
Anyways, make I try come out of this place. Bye.
Not forget your tax receipt.
Receipt? For the liberty thing?
It no matter, for the sake of accountability, we have to know that for we tax money, they go where it's supposed to go. You don't know, tax is important for the economy of every country. Taxes help pay for education, streets, and other government projects like grocery bag will benefit all of we. And you never know, when the economy pick up back, maybe Gary could even get back a job.
You know, you're right.
It's that time of year again. And whether you're buying gifts for loved ones, shopping for new furniture and appliances, or simply doing business as usual, the Belize Tax Service Department would like to remind you to always ask for a tax receipt with every purchase. Let us all do our part to ensure the further growth of Belize. Together we build our country, your contribution, our development.
It goes without saying that 2020 was a most challenging year. During the disruption caused by COVID-19, RF&G Insurance took the opportunity to use technology to come up with new solutions for doing business with our customers. This includes expanded use of social media platforms, as well as the launch of our own RF&G online platform, which provides our clients with secure, direct access to their insurance accounts, their related policies, and even allows them to file and monitor claims. At a community level, RF&G has continued to focus its support on causes and organizations in need of assistance. For the Christmas holidays, we have funded an initiative that will enable our staff members to give back within their own communities to neighbors who have been worst hit by the pandemic. We wish you, your families and work colleagues a safe 2021, and we look forward to assisting you with your insurance needs and advice throughout the year.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety, and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
On behalf of the Ministry of Health and Wellness and all frontline healthcare workers, we would like to wish you all a safe and blessed Christmas and a happy new year filled with hope, good health, and aspiration.
De parte del Ministerio de Salud y Bienestar, les deseamos una feliz Navidad y un próspero año nuevo, siempre cuidadosamente.
From the part of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, I want to wish you a safe Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Subsequently, Ministro Reheblachting Retituam, Cherile Rip, Sali Ralankil, Ut, Sali Akchiap.
Duwari Homa, Lida Ise Irum. Darangila Luma Isye, Luma Gia Wabureme, Hama Arihitia Lo Atiwadi.
Christmas season is a time for us to come together and enjoy the festivities as one. But this year, the pandemic has forced us to celebrate differently. Rather than despair, let us welcome and approach this season with a renewed spirit, a time for reflection, and most importantly, a time for thanksgiving and prayer. Many of our neighbors are facing difficult times. If we have a little more, let us open our hearts to share with those who have a little less. As you know, many of our brothers and sisters have lost the battle to this virus. We unite with their loved ones in prayer and take up the mantle to defeat this pandemic in their names. While we can't have a party, we have life. And while finances may be limited, we have hope. As the minister with the responsibility for the health and wellness of our citizenry, I urge you to abide by the regulations, stay at home, celebrate virtually, and let us flatten the curve. As a people, we are resilient and we can defeat COVID, but we must all do our part so that we ensure that 2021 will be a year of renewal, reset, and the start to our country bouncing back. In closing, I would like to wish all Belizeans at home and abroad, and in particular my beloved constituents of Kayonert, a safe and Merry Christmas, and a new year filled with health and prosperity. Feliz Navidad, prospero año y mucha felicidad.
We made it to the end of 2020, the year that challenged our realities as individuals, as a family, as a community, as a nation, all while accelerating our digital lifestyle. We end this year, regardless, with the faith, hope, and commitment of many new possibilities for improvement and change. 2021 brings a new era of opportunities for Digi. Digi has and will continue to introduce new innovative solutions via our state-of-the-art mobile and fixed broadband networks, allowing Belizeans to continue implementing new business practices, work and school from home, and seamlessly communicate with family and friends globally. All this would not be possible without our team of capable, dedicated staff, our loyal customers and stakeholders. Digi extends a heartfelt thank you and appreciation to all our Digi staff for their dedication and unwavering commitment to always providing high-quality service. Digi also extends a heartfelt thank you to our loyal customers who have displayed confidence and trust in our ability to keep them connected with our quality service and solutions. We made it through 2020 together, and we will continue to be there for you in the coming year. Have a blessed and safe holiday season, and best wishes for a prosperous new year. Together we can, together we will.
Belize Healthcare Partners Limited opened its doors in 2008. Like many other medical facilities around the country, BHPL has adjusted its services for COVID-19 patients. The hospital now boasts its own isolation ward separate from the main building, which has been in operation for some months now. Dr. Shanna Pott says that COVID-19 patients who visit the Belize Healthcare Partners Limited receive specific care after being properly evaluated.
This isolation ward is a completely separate body from the main hospital. As you can see, the entrance is separate, okay, entrance and exit, even for our staff back here. Our entrance is here, and so it has absolutely no direct contact with the hospital at all, as is our flu clinic, where we would evaluate patients and depending on the gravity of their disease, and we decide how to treat. We follow international guidelines when it comes to treatment, and guidelines that have been issued by the Ministry of Health as well when it comes to treatment. But again, it depends, because we have patients that come to, and this is something important also to stress to the general public. If you believe, or if you have a positive test, try to get evaluated, because what has been happening in cases that complicate is that people come to us too late, okay? And so those are the ones that sometimes we're unable to save. despite our best efforts. This is an entire team that makes up this isolation ward, with each person playing a very important role. We have Dr. Hidalgo and Dr. Arriaga that oversees, treatment and everything of the patients, and then, of course, myself and Dr. Marhon are in there directly examining patients daily, treating, making adjustments where necessary, and things like that. We also have our respiratory therapist, Ms. Rocio Hiron. She's a very important part of the team, and her role, she comes every day and work with our patients on whatever exercises that needs to be, that these patients need to do to help their recovery.
According to Dr. Pot, the hospital has 5 ventilators, 1 for each room in the isolation unit, which also has dialysis treatment capabilities. Pot says that each patient is allowed to use a tablet for them to keep in touch with their family and friends while they are in the unit.
Here, admitted, we've had so far over 40 patients. Okay, there are about 45 patients total that we've treated in the isolation ward. And of course, like I said, we also see outpatients from the flu clinic. And sometimes when patients have tested positive and we think that they may require X-ray, blood tests, things like that, we also bring them to a room in here where they can receive that as well without having to be admitted. And also, so that we can see if they may have developed a pneumonia or anything that requires treatment. But we also provide that service that patients can come in for X-ray and still be outpatients. COVID was a surprise to everybody, and we tried to be as prepared as possible. And yes, we did have an occurrence, and we did have to close for a few days just to sanitize the place. We got it under control pretty quickly, but it was, of course, a learning process. There's always room for improvement in everything that we do. And I find that, yes, that we've improved greatly since the beginning, and like I said, it was a learning process for everybody.
Coming up after the break, New Year's greetings from our viewers to you.
Season greetings, especially to the members and supporters of the Belize Diabetes Association and to all persons living with diabetes and their families. The year 2020 will go down in history. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought many changes and challenges to our lives and health. Sadly, some of us have lost loved ones. I'm so glad that we have managed to come through this year together. Thanks to our partners, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, PAHO, our donors and sponsors, and all who have supported us during this year. As we start the new year, I ask, how can we make the new year a better one? My wish is for you to give yourself the gift of exercise. Why? Because exercise can improve your overall health, your well-being and quality of life. Being overweight and obese are the biggest risk factors for diabetes. Lack of exercise puts us at risk for diabetes and its complications such as blindness, kidney failure, stroke, and lower limbs amputations. Diabetes is the second leading cause of death in Belize. My second wish is for persons living with diabetes to maintain an A1C level below 7%. For persons not living with diabetes, your A1C level should be below 5.7%. Exercising at least 30 minutes a day, 3 days per week can help in reducing your A1C level and delay or prevent the onset of diabetes. Finally, our diabetes self-care management program is available for persons who need assistance in managing their diabetes. Our branches throughout the country are open for support and any assistance that you might need. Call us for more information. Together, let's manage diabetes one step at a time. Let's exercise for diabetes. Let's maintain our A1C level below 7%. We must do it. We have to do it for our overall health and well-being.
Every day, young persons are infecting older and high-risk family members and friends with the COVID-19 virus. This Christmas could become the super spreader event we've all been afraid of. The end result is suffering and a horrible death. Please, do not let a couple of hours of fun cause a lifetime of mourning and pain. Practice physical distancing, wash hands often, and wear your mask properly. Staying home this Christmas will ensure many more with your loved ones in the years to come. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Smart got you this December with the We Kinda Christmas promotion. Starting December 4th, you can avoid the rush and be safe while visiting our showrooms to get these one-of-a-kind deals.
Devices start as low as $70 with the Evo Star Mobile. Other devices like the Nokia 2V for just $165, Motorola E6 for only $235, and Samsung A51 for $675. Check this out. The first 10 persons to purchase any of our iPhone 7s get 50% off that device. Each device comes with 50 SMS, $10 promo credit, plus 2 gigabytes of data, all for free.
Looking for tablets? Then take advantage of the Amazon Kindle 8-inch for $155. Or get a Samsung Tab A10.
All phones come with a starter pack, free SMS, credit and data, plus an extra Christmas treat of 2 gigabytes data, a package valued at over $27 for free.
Now that's We Kinda prices, and you can only get them at Smart.
Every day, women and men in Belize become victims of gender-based violence, which results in emotional, sexual, financial, and physical abuse. Are you a survivor of gender-based violence and in imminent danger? Don't be afraid. There are ways you can get help. You can call our free emergency numbers at 0800 AWAY OUT or text or WhatsApp 672-9628 or call 911 to make a report at any time of the day or night. A police officer will assist you. You can also contact the Women and Family Support Department for women abuse or the Department of Human Services for child abuse in your district to discuss options for temporary housing or medium to long-term care and psychosocial support. You can also go directly to the family or magistrate court and obtain a protection order that restrains the abuser from coming in contact with you, or apply for an occupation and tenancy order that orders the abuser to leave the home for the period of time they see fit. Visiting your nearest hospital or polyclinic for medical attention or further referrals is also something you can do. Together, we can end gender-based violence in Belize. We are here to help you. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission with funding from the Engender and Spotlight projects, with support from the Department of Youth Services.
We showed you the first part of our story with two enterprising sisters from Hopkins. In tonight's follow-up, the owners of Nice Cream share more about running their business and how they have managed to balance work and home life. Here's Andrea Polanco with that story.
When sisters Marissa Lewis Robinson and Kyra Lewis decided to go into business together, nothing could have prepared them for the risks they've taken and the successes they've reaped together. But they knew one thing: they were better off working together than apart at their business, Nice Cream in Hopkins.
Kyra and I, we have this this bond. We really do. It's crazy. You know, Kyra would say, Marissa, you know, focus on what, you know, you're good at. I'll focus on what I'm good at. So it's just that, you know, I'm playing with our strength and weakness.
Yeah, so we find out that I'm good at making ice cream because somebody should forget to put the sugar in. But she's better at the Instagram, the Facebook, the decoration, the marketing. So, you know, and then helping me with, you know, other things like making the waffle cones and, you know. So, yeah, so we learn to just, we know balance each other out.
And that balance has shaped Nice Cream into a local hotspot in Hopkins. It brings people together for refreshing treats at this colorful and welcoming outdoor space. Today, despite the tough economic times brought on by COVID-19, locals and expats, particularly from Hopkins and surrounding areas, support the quality homemade taste of Nice Cream.
6 or 7 months each year in Hopkins. I come from the UK. I'm semi-retired, and I live very close to where the ice cream is made, so it's very easy to slip around. I only have one favourite, and that's rum and raisin, and it's really, really good.
I enjoy the Nice Cream since how they open, right? So my favorite one is the vanilla, the toasted coconut, and rum and raisin.
I've been coming here since they opened. I think it's a couple years now. I live right down the street. We have a hotel and restaurant down there, and tourists, when they come, they want to try something that's local and authentic. So it's so great to be able to send guests here because people, you know, Americans know what ice cream is, but here they make it with all local ingredients. You know, they make a cone that's out of cassava. They always have different flavors that are fantastic.
And as you heard, tourists have also kept Nice Cream busy during the tourist season. But with COVID-19, when the tourists stopped coming to Belize, the Lewis sisters haven't only had to work harder, but smarter, like getting their ice cream into supermarkets in the South. But even that came with its challenges.
One of the changes we've made as well is that we're starting to take our ice creams into the store. We've introduced it to the stores. So they can find it there, and, you know, so because we're trying to avoid people going to a lot of places. So if they can just go to the grocery store, get their essentials and grab the ice cream as well, that's perfect for them. So that's one of the ways that we've done just to try to keep afloat. One of the challenges that we've faced is that we started off like with 7 or 8 stores at the beginning of the pandemic. And when we tried to take our ice cream back there, the orders were becoming less and less and less because they said that people were not, well, the pandemic, I mean. So we've only had probably our ice cream in 3 or 4 stores. Like we have said, you know, wait after the pandemic or wait until Akalio, you know. But the plan is to continue to take it, farther. So we're observing how things goes. Now it's just make sure that our store here can provide the best service and best ice cream possible, that people can come from afar and taste our ice cream.
Although times are tough, they're optimistic about the future. What these sisters want you to know is that they started out small with 7 flavors of ice cream. And today, they boast 20 flavors and a range of different tasty treats. They didn't have to put themselves in a mountain of debt. Instead, they found something they're passionate about and got it going with the support of their family and their village. For these 2 moms, being entrepreneurial has empowered them to provide for their family and to contribute to their community.
It is a good feeling, you know, working with family, you know, having someone there, like, through your good days and your bad days, you know, you still get that encouragement. See, I'm getting a little bit emotional because it means a lot to me. It does. And community support as well. We can't do it
without
Hopkins, without Dangriga, without City River. The support has been overwhelming. They love ice cream, and I really, 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 really appreciate that.
I get to do it at home. I get to from my bed to the ice cream shop. I might have my family, and my mom cooks. So the most rewarding is just having doing it with family, and seeing that the business is prospering, is thriving, and then feeling good that you can create and become more.
And so if you're wondering when's the best time to start a business, this pair of business owners says the time is right now. They've learned many lessons along the way, and they hope that you can pick up 1 or 2 lessons from their experience as you embark on your small business journey.
Keep an open mind, focus on the goal, keep the goal, challenge yourself every single day, don't give up. Like you said, like for families, if Cara wasn't around, I'll be struggling most days. I have a toddler. I work with a toddler. I don't have a babysitter, so it's hard. It's hard, but
the family support.
Just to have that family support.
Yeah, I find that when you own your own business, I know it's so you think that you're your own boss and you can do whatever you want to do or how you want to do it, but it's not that way. When you're a business owner, you need to work harder than when you are being employed by someone else, and just do not get discouraged. Sometimes our sales probably is like $20 a day, when we barely see anybody. But and then when we realize that we observe ourselves, it was like, okay, well, what are we doing wrong? How can we change it? How can we get better? Or what other strategies we can do? So sometimes we'll do a promotion, more advertisement, so just to keep things going. But you have to be creative in a business. You must be creative and have an open mind.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
And as we are less than 6 hours away from ringing in the new year, we bring you greetings from some of our fellow Belizeans. While the year 2020 was tough for many due to COVID-19, there were still things to celebrate and more to look forward to in 2021. Here's what some of our viewers shared about their past year and their hope for the new year.
Happy New Year, my fellow Belizeans. I want to thank everybody, especially those in the Fort George Division, for the education I got in 2020. I could have not gotten that education at any university. In 2021, I, Will Mejia, look forward to working with all Belizeans, from the Rio Hondo to the Sarstoon, to make Belize a better place. Happy New Year.
Hello, it's the end of the year, and I hope that many of us are thankful that we're still alive to see the end of 2020. Let's welcome 2021 with open arms, and I think the best resolution we can do is to love each other and look out for ourselves, our health, and our care. What did I love best about 2020? That I learned a lot about perseverance and living within the limitations we have. Happy New Year!
Hi everyone, Happy New Year! My name is Aurelio Shu. First and foremost, I want to say thanks to the great Creator for allowing us to get through the year. And for this year, it allowed me to spend quality time with my family. And I look forward to 2021 for some positive changes and for our continued resilience as a country.
Happy New Year, Belize. We are so excited to having 2021 finally with us. 2020 was a real challenge, but we definitely learned how to work in a virtual world, not only with our employees at BSI, but also with our farmers. At least we did it, we communicated, and thanks to the technology in this world. Happy New Year!
Greetings, Belize City. The year 2020 has taught me that family has been always important. It is now time for all family members to make sure that they get rid of all ills before the beginning of the new year. So I would like to wish you all a happy and safe 2021.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm looking forward to
is that I just want the economy to move as fast as it could by the time the COVID-19 vaccine occur. And I want to see some musicians, bands, DJs and artists go back and provide musical performances physically to persons after months of all the suffering they're going through. That's what I'm looking forward to for 2021. Thank you.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in text at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at News 5 Live. I'm Marlene Cuellar. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Have a happy and safe New Year's Day. Good night.